Alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another video on my channel. So by now, it's no secret, I left the UK in 2023 and moved here to Sharjah in the UAE. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my brutally honest review after living here for 2.5 years, the good, the bad, and believe it or not, the ugly. So make sure you stay until the very end because I feel like a lot of you guys might actually be surprised by what I have to say at the very end. If you would like to understand the reasons why I left the UK or the reasons why I chose Sharjah, just check out my channel. I've got videos addressing both of these points in quite a bit of detail. So with that said, let's kick it off with the good. And of course, we have to start at the Islamic environment. Honestly, the difference between Sharjah and London is night and day. Alhamdulillah, it's a very, very conservative emirate. Overwhelming majority of people that live here are Muslim, so you'll have no trouble fitting right in. On top of that, you've got very strict laws like alcohol being completely illegal. In fact, even shisha bars completely illegal in Sharjah. So naturally, this means that you're going to find less tourists here in Sharjah than you would in places like, for example, Dubai or Abu Dhabi. On top of that, there are masajid on every street corner, honestly. Like, you hear the adhan, you hear the iqamah, even the salah, all done out loud. And if for whatever strange reason you're not able to make it to a masjid, there are prayer rooms in almost every single building, every single mall. And all of these places have actual wudu facilities. You go to the beach, there's a prayer room, wudu facilities. You go to the mall, there's a prayer room, wudu facilities. And of course, one of the most important pieces of equipment in this entire discussion, the istinja pipe. Or the istinja shower, whatever you want to call it, the istinja ninja. It's there everywhere. No lotte, no water bottles. You don't need to worry about any of that. And can I just say the toilets, public toilets here, generally speaking, are much cleaner than that which you would find in the West, from my anecdotal experience. On top of that, almost every gym is segregated. I only know of one gym that's not fully segregated. Other than that, every single other one that I've been to has been segregated. The food is all halal. You never have to ask, is it halal? Is it HMC? It's all halal, alhamdulillah. Like, all of these things just add up and they make it so hard to not practice your religion. I'll give you guys an example. I had a few friends from the UK that were visiting and I took them to Sharjah. They were staying in Dubai and they weren't the most practicing, right? We went out to a mall to eat. And as we're waiting for the food, we hear the adhan. So I said to my friends, hey guys, look, let's go. The adhan went off. Let's go pray. By the time we come back, the food will be ready. Now, one of them mentioned at this point that he was wearing shorts that didn't fully cover his aura, so he wouldn't be able to pray right now. I told him, don't worry, bro. Don't worry. Just follow me. Come. If you don't have wudu, don't worry. If you need to go to the toilet, don't worry. If your shorts aren't covering your aura, don't worry. Just follow me. And we went and walked to the prayer room. We got to the prayer room, used the toilet facilities, used the wudu facilities. Then we entered the actual prayer room. And I took them to the side and there was a cabinet. Now, in this cabinet, they were individually packed. I don't know what you would call them. Someone can tell me the name in the comments. But it's like, imagine like a thobe. See like this bit here? If you cut off this top section, it's just this bottom section with like an elastic around it. So you literally just put your legs in, boom, pull it up. And boom, your aura is covered. You can pray. And it's individually packed, clean, dry cleaned. After you're finished with it, there's a separate box. You put it in there. They get it cleaned, individually pack them again, and boom, put them there. Brand spanking new. What kind of a person would you have to be to still miss your prayers in this environment? There's literally no excuses for you. So that's the first point, the Islamic environment. Now let's come on to point number 2 in the good, which is the safety and the security. To demonstrate this, I'm going to tell you guys a story. One of the times I was visiting the UAE, I believe it was in 2020, and when we got to the apartment, they mentioned that there's only 2 keys. So I was like, there's 10 of us, there's only 2 keys. You know, can we get more keys? Like, when we need to go in and out, like, it's going to be annoying if we have to always stay in 2 groups to be able to have a key. So then they asked, like, wait, like, what would you actually need the key for? We said to lock the door. They said, why would you want to lock the door? And I mean, I said, we've got a lot of camera equipment. We've got a lot of, you know, laptops and stuff like that. Tens of thousands of pounds worth of equipment. I think I was like, yeah, okay, but why would you need to lock the door? And he showed us an adjacent vacant apartment and the door was unlocked. I was like, you don't need to lock your door. No matter what equipment you got, your passports, etc., people aren't going to steal it here. And I was shocked at this time. I was like, what? Wow. I was like, what? That's mad. Like, having grown up in London, where people will you know, steal things out of your pockets, let alone things that you leave in particular places, this for me was something different. And then I remember I went to a car rental company, right? Supercars. You know, went to book a car, paid for the car. Where's the key? oh, yeah, cars in the car park up front, keys inside. I said, what? You just casually left the key inside the Lamborghini outside? To be honest, I can't remember exactly the story if it was a Lamborghini, so don't quote me on that, don't want to lie. But I was just shocked. I was like, what? This is crazy. This is unheard of. Like in the UK, you blink and your car's gone. And you could have all the safety features. People are drilling into your car. They're stealing your catalytic converter, lifting up the car, putting a angle grinder, whatever you call it. Like it's another level of safety here. So you don't need to worry about your children. You don't need to worry about your women folk. They can go out and be safe. Even at night, you will find families in grassy areas having picnics, eating, sitting, chilling, relaxing, kids playing up until midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing to do. I believe children should have a, sleep schedule that's proper. My point is the safety allows it. In the UK, you're always hearing and seeing police sirens just again and again and again, multiple times per day. Here, it's very rare. Mostly when you see police, someone's broken down or there's been an accident. When you hear sirens, 99% of the time it's an ambulance. Very rarely do you see it. Once, maybe a month, I'll see an actual police car with its sirens on, going to some kind of incident or, whatever. It's very safe, alhamdulillah. With all of that said, though, I would still recommend, guys, please do lock your doors. I'll give you a funny story that happened to me, or two stories that connected. So I never used to lock my front door. And it's one of those doors that it doesn't lock automatically when you close the door. You have to lock it with the key. So one day I'm extremely tired, come home from work, got in the lift, gone to my floor, opened my apartment door, and I've seen, like, well, I was a bit bashed at first, like, the furniture's all different. But I thought, bro, my wife must have just done a mad thing, It's not that out of the blue that she would just turn around and just switch out the furniture and stuff. And then as I was about to take off my shoes, I looked down and wait, this is a bit too different. And then I clocked. I was in the wrong apartment. I literally, this whole thing happened probably within 10 seconds. I clocked. I was literally in the apartment for 10 seconds, just in the front door. Opened the door, boom. Alhamdulillah, it was empty. And it was basically on another floor in my building, but I just hadn't paid attention to what floor I was on. So now I always double check. Number one, when I come out the lift, it will tell you the floor you're on. And number two, the actual door number. I always double check just to be on the safe side. So alhamdulillah, there was no one there. Imagine there'd been a sister there. She'd been uncovered because she's chilling at home. That would be extremely embarrassing, right? On the flip side, one time I'm sleeping, 11 p.m., midnight, something like that. And I get woken up by my wife. Someone just opened the door. I was like, what? Okay, I'm running out, see what's going on. Went to the door, opened the door. And there's a guy all at the end of the hall near the lift. And as soon as I opened the door, he's like, brother, I'm so sorry. I live on I can't remember if he said the floor above or the floor below. And I thought this was my apartment. I'm really sorry. I was like, don't worry about it. It's happened to me as well. So from then on, we've always locked the door. So I would recommend, even if, alhamdulillah, it's very safe, still lock your door, guys. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a very embarrassing situation. And also, that situation could actually go left very easily if you end up walking in on a sister, she makes a complaint. That's not going to be a good day for you. The third point in the list of things that are good is the location. Alhamdulillah, Mecca, Medina are very, very, very close by. It's a 2.5 hour flight. You can literally go. I've done it many times where I've gone literally for the day and come back, stayed for one night. I'm back within 24 hours or just over 24 hours. Alhamdulillah. On top of that, anywhere else pretty much that you want to get to, number one, it's easy to get there in terms of time. The UK is like a 7-hour flight away. Even if you want to go somewhere like Malaysia, etc., it's not too far away. But number two, Dubai is actually a very central hub, right? So there are flights to almost everywhere here. Also, that means there's a lot of airlines that operate from here. So therefore, you find that you can find cheap flights. There are multiple airports that you can go to. People don't realize you go to Sharjah airport, even Abu Dhabi airport is about an hour away from Dubai. Sometimes you can find extremely cheap flights going to and from places from Abu Dhabi or from Sharjah. Next, I'll mention the standard of living as number 4. It's pretty much similar, if not even actually personally, I'd say it's way better than the West. But at the very least, let's say it's similar, right? You don't have to worry about, I'm going to be living in a village somewhere, although you could probably find that here. And that's actually another point, which is you have both ends of the spectrum here. If you want to live extremely lavish, you can. If you want to live extremely basic, you can. And you will find different apartments and villas and so on and so forth available at the various different price points, which means it's suitable for anyone and everyone. Whatever your budget is, you can make it work here. Yes, you're going to have to sacrifice on the lower budgets, Yes, you're going to be possibly falling into israf on the higher budgets, but my point is the options are available too to make that choice. Now, this just means it's a lot easier to adjust for you, for your family, for your children. You know, the standard of healthcare, standard of education in schools, the Islamic education in schools, etc., is a lot better. The fifth point in good is the low taxes. Guys, get ready to have your mind blown here. I use ChatGPT to do a side-by-side comparison between a person earning £100,000 as a salary in the UK versus in the UAE. In the UK, after deductions like your national insurance and income tax, you are left with approximately £70,000. That's 30% of your income has gone directly straight to the government. And on the flip side, I think some of you already know where I'm going with this. In the UAE, on personal income, you have zero tax. If you earn £100,000, you take home £100,000. £30,000 to the government, zero to the government. Now let's take it one step further. Because remember, we pay VAT on our groceries, we pay fuel duty tax in the UK on our fuel. In the UAE, there's municipality taxes when you're renewing your rent, so on and so forth. So let's now compare, and I use ChatGPT for this, let's compare the money that indirectly ends up being paid to the government as a result of your expenses. And of course, a lot of these are just averages, a lot of these are based on assumptions, but they will give you a good idea of what to expect. So you can expect to pay around £3,000 a year in VAT, around £1,500 in council tax, around £170 on TB license, if anyone even uses that, and around £1,000 on vehicle-related taxes. All of that adds up to around another £5,500 to £6,000. That means around 35% in total of your income goes to the government. In the UAE, on the other hand, according to ChatGPT, you're paying around £750, £800 in VAT. There's a 5% municipality fee for housing, let's say 4,000 dirham on average. And your vehicle-related fees will be in the region of about £500 per year. Overall, you're looking at around £2,000. So £65,000 or 98-ish thousand pounds. That's a massive difference. Now, very quickly, let's do the same but for a business. Let's say you have a business and that business generates £500,000 in revenue, of which 100,000 is profit. How much tax would you pay in the UK versus the UAE? In the UK, you're looking at around £22,000 in corporation tax, around £40,000 in VAT. Whereas in the UAE, you'd be paying less than £2,000 in corporation tax and around £9,000 in VAT. Now, if you actually register a free zone company and you don't have any actual business within the UAE, all of your customers are international, then you're actually paying zero VAT, which means you only pay around £2,000. So £98,000 of your profit goes into your pocket. Whereas in the UK, you're paying over £60,000 in taxes as a business. Now, do you see why it makes so much sense to leave the UK if you have a business? And then finally, you have inheritance tax. You can look into it yourself. I'm not going to give you details. I don't want to stretch out this video. Bottom line is, in the UAE, it's zero. Whatever you have when you die, 100% of it goes to your children. In the UK, you have, I think, around 325,000 tax-free. After that, 40% goes to the government. 40%. 40%. Now, there are other caveats to do with things you can give to your spouse and if you're giving your children the primary home that you live in, etc. But bottom line is, it's still a massive difference. If you have a significant amount of wealth, it will affect you significantly. And last, but definitely not least, point number 6, which is the networking opportunities you find here are crazy. The quality of people that you're going to find here, Allahumma barik, subhanAllah, it's crazy. Honestly, I don't even know how to explain to you in words. I've personally, alhamdulillah, been given access to so many different opportunities simply through networking. Premier Supercars Dubai, alhamdulillah, came out through networking. The real estate development project that we're doing with Sam, again, came through networking. Like, if you can get here, once you're here, opportunities will open left, right, and center. Now, with that said, let's come on to the bad, and we're going to kick it off with the heat. Now, in the peak of the summer, temperatures can hit 50 degrees Celsius. That is extremely hot. Now, the good thing is, it's not for the majority of the year. It's only for a couple of months in the middle of the summer. Me personally, I have to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me too much. You're at home most of the time and you have AC. In your car, you have AC. You go to a mall, there's AC. You go to a shop, there's AC. Like everywhere you go, you will have AC. The only real time I feel it is if I have to park my car outside and I come back to it and it's been in the heat and your steering wheel feels like it's on fire. You have to stay with your knees for the first few minutes. You know, your back touching the leather seat, burning. But like I said, if I'm honest with you, for me personally, that's not too much of an issue. The second thing is the traffic. Now, again, I have to be honest. I hear people say, oh, Sharjah traffic all the time. For me personally, it's not that deep. I used to live in the UK, right? I used to live in London. I've lived in East London and had to commute to West London. I've lived in West London and had to commute to East London. The A40, the A406, you're easily there for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours sat in stop-start traffic. And look, traffic is all over the world. Maybe if you live in a remote area of the country, possibly not. But I genuinely haven't found it to be too bad. Now, yes, I don't work a regular 9 to 5 in Dubai, so I'm not commuting it all the time in the peak hours, but there are many times where I do commute in the peak hours. And again, it's not the end of the world for me, but I just put on an audio book or a podcast, listening to it while I drive, when I'm doing a meeting, I'm being productive with my time. It's not that deep, personally. The pros of living in Sharjah far outweigh any traffic. And even within Dubai, sometimes we've had a podcast in the south of Dubai, and then I have to drop a brother off close to Sharjah in the north of Dubai. You're still talking like a 45-minute drive. Like, within Dubai, there's traffic everywhere. So I don't really see it to be an issue specifically for Sharjah, if I'm completely honest with you guys. Point number 3, you don't get citizenship or permanent residency. I know for a lot of people, this is a big concern. Again, I have to be honest, it's not really too much of a concern for me. My main priority is the environment that my family are in right now. Like, I plan to be here for as long as this place continues to tick all of my boxes. If not, I'll move to another place. But I know from speaking to people and seeing videos and things that people post online, this is a big concern for a lot of people. So I put it into the cons list, the bad. The fourth point that I would mention is that it can be quite expensive if you don't have a job. So if you have to pay for your own company, if you have to pay for your own visa, your own residency, you're looking at about £6,000-7,000 a year. And then every 2 years, you pay for your visa, which is about another £1,000 to £1,500 per visa every 2 years. So it can add up. One thing I would recommend in that scenario, I've seen many people do, is just like 2 or 3 people will set up a company together, share the annual renewal fees, and just pay for their visas individually. So you can do that as another option, but obviously I would recommend only do that with people you actually trust and have a good relationship with, because then you're paying around £2,000 each per year to renew the license instead of £6,000-7,000 all by yourself. The final point that I'll mention in the bad section, point number 5, would be the lack of family. Now, obviously, if you're able to move with all of your family, that's different. But for example, for most people that live here, they live here as expats, their families are somewhere, for example, in the UK or even in sometimes in Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc. So when it comes time for Eid, or, there's a wedding, there's a funeral, you might not be able to make it, or you might not have that family feeling. Now, you can counter this by creating that family environment amongst yourself, amongst your friends, amongst your neighbors, although it's never going to be fully the same. And another thing also is that you're making more money, so you have more disposable income. So if you do need to catch a flight to attend a wedding or a funeral, it's easier to do so. And now we come to the last segment, the ugly. So, when at the very start, I mentioned the first good thing was the Islamic environment. Well, that also, unfortunately, is the ugly. And the reason why I say that is because I have seen a decline in the environment from when I first moved until today. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still way better than the other Emirates and still night and day difference, no comparison whatsoever to the West. But you are now starting to see more non-Muslims in Sharjah. And unfortunately, you are also now starting to see more and more revealing clothes being worn on people in Sharjah. When I first moved here, maybe it would be once a month out of the blue you'd see someone. Now, like, if I've gone to one of the local malls that's more like popular, I'll go there and I'll see, like, every time I've been there, like, I actually now consciously avoid going to that mall now. And it's a little bit surprising because when you see, like, on the entrance, there are signs that say you must dress modestly. Even in Dubai, like, most of the malls have that. And in fact, I was in a friend's building and we had a meeting, and I was actually shocked to see in the lobby that there was a sign that said you must cover your shoulders to your knees. It actually said shoulders to knees. You must wear modest dress. But people were dressed like half naked. And this was obviously in Dubai. But now even in Sharjah, like even at the beach, I went after a gym workout in the morning. So there's a cafe there for breakfast. And I saw tourists in bikini. I was shocked. There's only a few of them, albeit, look, it's only a few in a small area. But still, speak to the lifeguard, they're like, oh yeah, brother. And this is the problem. Enforcement doesn't really seem to be there. In the mall, if you go up to the security guard, you say, look, like, you complain to them, tell them what's happening. They'll say, yeah, no, it's not allowed, but we can't really speak to them because they'll get upset, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I know they'll get upset, but like if I started smoking a cigarette in the mall, would you stop me? Of course. So why are you not giving this the same level of importance? And I've also heard that brothers that are moving to some of these newer communities that are new build and whatnot, they are finding that there are a lot of non-Muslim expats and the pool is actually unusable because people dress quite inappropriately. Now, again, I have heard stories of brothers have managed to get in touch with management, got a hold of the rules for the pool, and it's mentioned modest swimwear. So then they've had to then go and try and enforce it themselves, which then leaves you open to getting into trouble, I can imagine, or even just causing bad blood between you and your neighbors. So that is something to consider. It is starting to get a little bit more relevant. It's something that I hope and I pray that gets worked on and changes. But if it doesn't, you have to be prepared to move, whether that's moving to a more conservative area within the same emirate, moving to a different emirate completely, or move to a different country completely. Like I said, guys, don't get fixated on I'm moving to this country. This country is the place of hijrah. Hijrah means you've left the non-Muslim lands and you've moved to a land where you can practice your religion freely and it has an Islamic environment. Now, everyone will have their own checklist for what's the most important things for them. If a particular place changes and it's no longer suitable, just move. There are so many Muslim countries out here. So there you have it, guys. My 2.5 year review of living in Sharjah. Now, who knows? Will I make it to a 5-year review? Will I have left before then? I don't know. I'm excited to see what the future. Maybe will I even be alive? Who knows? If I'm not alive and you're watching this, make the dua for me, inshallah. With that said, hopefully you found this video to be beneficial. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, and comment down below. Let me know what other topics you'd like to see on my channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.